think it came back down on feel because if you guys realize the pre-market for today was absolute garbage, right? There really wasn't a whole lot of anything moving, so I think this got affected as well. But then it was consolidating pretty nicely. It wasn't like flat. It showed signs of bounces and stuff. And also, we are sitting in a super huge gap fill on the daily chart. Okay. We are seeing a super huge gap fill on the daily chart for VO. And I think we also have a very nice back test level at this 215 level, right? Yeah, look at this. Yeah, a very nice back test level at this 215 area, right? Look at that. Yeah. It's a little confusing. Let me show you guys. Uh, second. All right, so yeah, this 215 area is a pretty good back test level. Yeah. Significant level, I would say. Right? Look at this. Pretty significant. Yeah, look at this. So that's why my stop loss was underneath that in the morning. Yeah, see that? Never really touched it, yeah. Um, and this is all the way up. We'll see in a second. Let's see. Go. Yep, there you go. Right. So yeah, it was a very slow pre-market for sure. I think there were a lot of pump and dumps. I was looking through the scanners and stuff, and there was a lot of pump and dumps, right? There were, I mean, this is an example of one, right? And I think a couple of stuff that Frankie called ran nice, but then after that, there was a fall through and everything just sold off as well. So I wasn't really a huge fan of pre-market. Right now, Zena for me was I like the way Zena traded. Honestly, for me, Zena was one of my top watches today as well. Right, my top two watches in the morning was RVYL and Zena, and I think if you guys realize today, right, these two were paying pretty well. I think I only traded like I think I told you guys Zena and RVYL, and then they both went well. Right, even Mod B went crazy. Right, but these two, okay. Xena and RUL, I mean, these were very good, right? Isn't it? These were good, no? Right? These were very good, right? But it was definitely very choppy in the market open. I mean, during pre-market, right? It was definitely very choppy during pre-market, and not even that, right? When this thing attempted to break off in $5, right? So over here, remember after we stopped out, I told you guys to watch the $5 breakout again. It's a huge psychological level. All right, watch the $5 break again. Stop loss on the 1 minute 21 EMA trend line, which is right around here. Right, so we broke the 5. Stop loss will be underneath 475. Right, dips, right, to 490s. If you guys grab that. And we pop all the way up to 520s. But at the same time, something else started to run. It was SCNI. But SCNI's volume was very random, right? It was very random. It had a huge move, like that, and then it went all the way up. But you guys can see, look, just because the stock runs up huge doesn't mean it's good. All right, I think definitely this was definitely one to keep on watch, right? But always remember this: whatever happens in pre-market, do not take it into market open. You should put it in and watch this just in case, right? I wanted this to pull back and form a reversal setup for us, but that never happened. And I think I told you guys, right? It's either we wait for a pullback, if not, right, we need to this to break $7. Because if it doesn't break seven, I'm not touching it right here. This thing is way too high. It needs to pull back, it needs to do something. Right? And plus, there were so many other setups with good volume. RBYL's volume today is crazy. This is not the first day we traded this. Remember the other day we traded this from 105 all the way to 230, right? This is the same thing. Right? And then Xena also had pretty good structure as well. So there was a lot of great options, okay, into morning, as you guys can see on the watch list. Right? Silo was something I put on over here. So I would say that for Silo, the reason why I put it on over here is because they did have some news over here in the morning, which is some crypto news, the same as before, the treasury strategy, right? But the fact that this is one of the tip, right? The fact that Silo did make a move in pre-market yesterday, right? I don't know. To me, this thing just felt a little bit this PR over here felt like a liquidation kind of PR, which is why I didn't touch it at all. But I had to confirm it, so I had to put it on the watch list to make sure that it fits what I'm thinking about, my thesis. Right? Same thing for SCNI, right? Even though I did not want to trade this, even though I didn't want to trade this, but because it had a nice move, I cannot ignore it. Because if it does go crazy on open, I look at the others, they're not really showing a whole lot of strength, then fine, right? I will have to trade this, right? So even for Theo, right? This is not really a momentum setup, but I'm putting it on over here because I'm in this, right? I want to watch it. But this is generally not affected by the momentum or any sort of volume rotation. Why? Because this itself is not even a momentum trade. The only two tickers that I think I was very surprised today was Xena and RVYL, right? You can see that. Yeah, look, these two were not something I was really interested in. I was just putting on them there just in case, right? And Theo was something that was a slow grinder, so it was really between these two. But what's very surprising to me today is that RVYL and Xena ran together. They are both of very different nature of stocks, but they ran together. I mean, it's not bad for us, right? I mean, I take it. We take two plays, both ran up, but it's actually insane. I never thought that was going to happen. Okay, but let's talk about Mod V first. Now, a lot of you guys might be asking, right? We understand how how to find plays or how to derive plays or derive your watch list from the plays for the day, which is from actions you see in pre-market or after hours, right? So during pre-market, tickers drops news, right? You watch throughout the duration of pre-market, and then that's where you formulate a watch list. But how do I get Mod V? Like, why would I pick Mod V when it's not part of the watch list? And Mod V did not show any sort of strength or pressure in pre-market, right? Like there's literally nothing over here. Why would I want to trade this over here? And you're right, there was nothing over here. Okay, that's why I did not know about this. But that's why having a volume scanner is very important, right? Now, this ticker over here opened up very strong. I think there was a whole lot of other tickers that didn't really do too much of anything, right? RVYL during the morning, it didn't really do too well. I mean, it wasn't really strong. It was a very nice consolidation phase happening for sure, right? It was a very, very nice consolidation phase happening over here, but it wasn't showing signs of strength in the morning. And you cannot assume that it's going to do that, right? Because look, always remember that when we trade, this is always, right? So you cannot assume that this is going to explode up, right? There's a high chance this thing could have just went all the way down, is it? Yeah? So but because it never broke down, now you can see it right over here, we have nice support. Price was staying above the 200 EMA, right? We have a lot of liquidity sweep over here, right? It wasn't breaking down. And in fact, right, it was also building to break this downtrend over here. Not sure if you guys can see it, but this was beautiful, right? This was actually beautiful, right? This is a very textbook setup right here. All right, look at this, all right? Let me show you guys again. Using this as my pivot, draw this across. Okay, look, all right? This is a very beautiful setup. You could make it a lot better, kind of makes sense. Draw it like that. It's all good. It's all good. This is a super huge as extended flag, but but the most important thing is I don't care about this uptrend over here, right? Because even though this is an uptrend, price can still go down. The fact that it broke the downtrend over here, absolutely beautiful. Yeah. But Mod V came first. Mod V hit the volume scanners first. Okay, and if you guys, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but we were trading this at the start of the week. I think this was one of the better movers that we had in the week, right? If you guys remember on Tuesday or something, I think it was it this one? Or was it this one? No, it was this one. It was this one. Right? We traded Mod V over here, went all the way to 3+ before going down. So I thought it was done, right? But yesterday when it did this move to 240, so it was very impressive. And to me, this tells me that this is probably not done, right? This ticker over here is probably not done. And it's also a little bit of a day tree setup, right? Arguably, it's also a little bit of a day tree setup. Let's kind of continue on. What the hell is this? Right? And also the daily chart, you can see that was basing above this 50 EMA as well. So overall, all the time frames are aligned. It's very, very strong. So that was where, when I had good volume over here, one thing I need to know is I need to understand as well. Yesterday we traded this too, right? It was very choppy, if you guys remember, right? The volume wasn't great. It had very nice moves, but the wicks are crazy. But yesterday's volume wasn't there, right? We had the volume today. We had a very nice squeeze move after. Okay. So over here, I start to look at my other time frames. So I start to look at the 4-hour chart to see what's up. I start to mark up my levels, right? Over here, I see, there is previously, right? If you look at this 4-hour level, this 4-hour chart, okay, right? There is a very strong separation over here at 285, right? 284, whatever, right? But what you can see what I'm trying to say over here. Okay, this, all right, rejection, okay, huge rejection, right? And then there's support as well. Now you can also say that it's not even just there, right? I can just extend a line across and say that this zone over here is what I want to see the price hold, right? These two zones over here. Now I'll go back to my daily chart just to get some confirmation and stuff, right? And you can see, right, just nice, this thing happens to be our fair value gap. Well, I don't really care what, I don't really use this fair value gap nonsense over here, but it's still a very good zone, right? Where there's a price imbalance over here. So that's why this is my pivot, right? For mod V to kind of hold. So I'm gonna just mark this off of a gray box first so that you guys can see it clearly later, right? Show you guys. Okay, so my 4-hour, my levels on the 4-hour has been perfect. Look at that. Price went back down to the backtest level. We breached through that this morning, right? Price went back down to the backtest level, held on to it, and bounced off it, right? That's the reason why, right? That's the reason why I took my entries at mod V at 936, because I saw price back tested this key level, right? And then 936, once you have a candle close above this over here, I took my entries over here. Entries. And I told you guys, so long as you hold on to this 280, price is still consolidating above a key level, right? Think of it like that. Okay, we have a key level over here, right? Price went up. Okay, price broke out, right? Now we want to see this consolidate above so they can make new highs and stuff like that. This is what I want to see, right? And price actually got that, right? Price actually got that. We never really lost our structure, okay? And once we started consolidating a little bit, but once we actually got this breakout move, all right, we form a ascending triangle pattern as well, right? This is intraday ascending triangle pattern. We got the breakout move and it was smooth sailing. I think the 5-minute was also very clean as well, right? It was very clean. Look at that. Not once did we lose the 21 mission line, but most importantly, we did not lose our trend here. So that's the reason why I told you guys. So as long as mod V don't lose the setup, okay, right here. Let me see. Sure, yeah. Let me see. Where is it? Yep. So long as we don't lose 280, we'll hold for 350 more, right? And we got a lot more than that, which is I ain't complaining. All right, I'm not complaining. Yeah, very good structure over here. Now next up, Xena, right? So remember, how I talk about. Oh, sorry, not Xena. Let's talk about RVYL first, right? Because this one honestly was a very beautiful setup. Okay, so if I were to put aside the fact that Xena was running, right? This over here was a very classic downtrend breakout setup. Okay, so first off, let me move all the lines over here first. Okay, so I need to add on the V1. All right, so our RVYL was something that we traded a couple of days back, and it was one of the biggest movers as well. Right? Yesterday, this thing hit 52-week low. Okay. Yesterday, this thing hit 52-week low at 35 cents, if you guys can see. Right? And it had a bounce. Generally, whenever tickers make new lows, it will try to bounce hard. Right? There's no news on this day, right? There's no news on this day, but this is probably just a 52-week low bounce. We had decent action in pre-market, which is why this is on the watch list, right? Now, I'm not sure if you guys can visualize this, but for me, I see a flag pattern. Okay, and again, it takes skill for you guys to recognize that, but I take this as a top pivot. I draw it all the way down. Okay. Sorry, it's a little laggy, but you guys get the idea of what I'm trying to, to pick over here. Right. I use this as my bottom and draw the line across. Right. I see a flag pattern. Is it a flag pattern? I mean, to me, it's a flag pattern. Right? So we have higher lows and lower highs. Right. So it gets tighter and tighter at the end of the flag, right? At the end of the flag, it gets tighter and tighter because of how the setup works. It gets tighter and tighter, right? So over here, price was not doing anything. So I needed to wait because remember, consolidation leads to two things. It could be a sell-off, it could be a breakout, right? Looking at this 200 EMA over here, we're holding above it, right? Looking at the support level over here that bounced off, just mini little support level that we have in pre-market. We had a lot of nice liquidity sweeps underneath that level. When price broke through this downtrend, and not only broke through this downtrend, it broke through VWAP. Look, previously VWAP, at least in the first 2 minutes over here, it was heavy rejections. But this broke through VWAP and the downtrend together, right? And we started basing on it on the second candle, right? And plus, this thing has a lot of volume, nice little flag breakout. I took my entries over here for RVYL at 68, 942. Stop loss under 60 cents. Why 60 cents? Is because this bottom over here is 60 cents. Yeah? So right here, I took my move at 68, right? On the way up, because volume was coming in. We held structure. Stop loss under 60 cents, which is gonna be underneath the support level, but also at the bottom of this uptrend. And look. Right? I mean, obviously, I didn't know this was gonna happen, right? But this was a beautiful classic setup. Remember, this move over here, okay, this entire move over here is a byproduct of whatever happened over here. And did this happen over here in 2 minutes? No. This thing happened over here from 6:53 to 9:39. Right? What I'm trying to say over here is sometimes for you to have a trade setup, if you gotta wait 3 hours for it to form. And that is fine. Right? You don't be trading every single second of the day. It's pointless. You don't have good structure. Right? This thing took 3 hours to form the setup for me to get this move. I'll take it. Right? And obviously I take profits over here on each move, right? But when we don't lose structure, why do you have to close everything? Right? Maximize the efficiency of the money using in a trade. And then we go over here, we halted up all the way up to 110, right? And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I didn't want to overtrade. I think I wanted to find re-entries after that, but the Elon Musk and Trump fight started happening and stuff, and man, I was like so caught up in all this kind of shit. I don't think there was anything much happening in the markets as well. So I think everything kind of died as well. So I wasn't very focused. But again, we had a great morning, right? There's no need for me to overtrade the rest of the day, right? One trade in the morning, that's it. For those of you guys who have a full-time job, you guys execute properly every single day coming for this 9:30 session, right? Because you have the best volume, you have the best structure, right? You have the best information in the market, right? Just because you missed a move on SCNI doesn't mean that your day is over, right? In fact, if I'm the kind of trader that trades this at 9:30 and stuff, I wouldn't even be interested in this. I'll be looking at tickers that actually gives good structure, like RVYL, right? It's not just a one right up. Right, it's actually consolidating and making higher lows and lower highs. Right, same thing for Zena. Right, same thing for Zena. There's structure. You see, it's not just a one way up. Right, it's going up, it's going down. It's not but it's showing an uptrend. As you guys can clearly see over here, it's showing an uptrend and a downtrend breakout. Both were very classic setups. Right, very very classic setups. Okay, all right. So that's for RVYL. Yeah. So for Zena, same thing as well. All right, for Zena, same thing. Okay, so this $5 has always been a huge level for me. For Zena, right? And why is that so? Now, first off, $5 obviously is a huge psychological level, right? But I think most importantly, okay, I think I saw this on the weekly chart or something. Let me see. Wow, just looking at something important. Let me see. So you can see that this $5 over here, right, was pretty significant. Look at this. You guys see that? Do you guys see? You guys see all these rejections over here? These micro rejections, right? Very significant level. And it's not only just because of this, right? It's because it's $5. It's a psychological level. No, I could say, it's 547. Honestly, it's completely fine too, right? Because it does fit the narrative. Okay, I can say max 510. It's not gonna make a whole lot of difference, just 10 cents and stuff. But you can see, if I were to say $5 breakout, 510 breakout, you can see that how the price is reacting to it is exactly the same. Right? It is exactly the same. Right? It's the same. Right? It's exactly the same. But this is my structure. All right, this is the structure. This is my key level. Right? Again, you see, Zena has good structure. You might not see this over here right now or in the morning, but after drawing it out, after letting the price action play out, you can see this is actually very nice. Right? It's not like SCNI where it's just one way up, one way down. Right? Tickers that goes one way up like that, what kind of setup do you have? You know what I mean? Like you can't even draw a flag pattern or anything because there's not enough movement. There's not enough patterns. But for ticker that does stuff like this, right? It does stuff like that. It gives you something to kind of base your trading plan on. And also Xena did have a catalyst, which is something I always like to, I like to trade tickers with catalyst, right? Xenatech launches drone as a service, right? DAAS. So it's definitely something, right? It's definitely something. Okay, but I like the structure. Former runner over here as well, and the low floater. So once, right, I got So what made me really like this, to be honest, I didn't take this on the $5 breakout, right? I took this over here at 480s. All right. And I'm gonna explain to you guys why. But again, it was way too quick for me to alert, and you guys got the $5 breakout anyway, so that's completely cool. All right. But look, the reason why I like this was because first off, over here, I use this as my trend pivot, right? And I think this is very reasonable because this is my first part of the bounce for Xena, right? This is my first part of the bounce for Xena. Price went down, consolidated over here, and we had another nice move. So using this two structure over here, I can derive these two as my pivot point for my trend line. I'm just gonna snap it like that, and this is it. Because remember, to draw a trend line, you need at least two pivot points, right? We've got one over here, we've got one over here. So these two are my pivot points, right? You can't draw a trend line when there's only one pivot point. Right? Because you're going to snap it to somewhere, right? If I extend this all the way to the right, it makes a whole lot of sense. I can adjust it a little bit to make it fit, the narrative, okay? But the general idea is that. Um, so when price, obviously in the morning, I always like to wait to let things settle down, right? I clearly see, price is struggling to break off from this key level in the 4-hour chart. Price went down. Now, what caught my interest is this wick over here that respected this trend line, right? But I wanted to see what the next candle was going to do. And unfortunately, the next candle over here was a weak candle. So I it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is just buyers stepping in, but we don't have buyers stepping up, right? Buyers may be defending the level, but we don't have additional buyers to step up to get the push, right? But when price retested this trend line over here, somewhere near it, okay, and we had this strong bullish engulfing candle over here, again, reclaiming VWAP, okay, and we started consolidating over here a little bit, right? We pulled back, retested it, candle broke out over here of this candle. I took my entries over here at 4.8. Stop loss is going to be under 4.6, right? 4.55, right? And from here, I'm trying to see whether we can get that $5 breakout. All right, so I got it a little bit preemptively, but it was a good candle formation over here that led to this decision, right? But if you guys are not really into taking this kind of plays, you guys can just wait for the $5 breakout too. There is nothing wrong with it. You can still wait for the $5 breakout. Still the same. Results are still going to be the same, right? Because essentially we all want the breakout to go. I'm not going to be like, oh, I take at 489. I'm going to take profits at $5. Like what the fuck? That's shit. And especially not especially so when my risk is at 460. So that means I'm risking around 30 cents. I'm not going to be selling for 10 cent moves, right? Because that is a pretty weak risk reward. Yeah. And once price broke up from it, right? So over here we still have a bit of struggle because don't forget about this level here. This is where the price had a double top in the pre-market. Okay, but once we actually clear through this top of the wick, right, where sellers dominated to the opening price of this red candle, look at how price flipped over from this rejection zone into support, right? And the rest was history. And I think the sell off over here was because I think nothing surprising over here. I think SPY also kind of did the same thing as well, right? SPY also kind of did the same thing as well. So it was a very good move in the morning, but midday, because of this Trump stuff happening, fuck, there was not much opportunities anymore. And that's where you can see you want to be smart about it, right? Do not overtrade. No need to, right? right? See, if there's nothing to trade, right? Why would I try to force anything? Yeah, I think you guys can realize I was pretty quiet today because yeah, first off, I was distracted by this Elon Trump dispute, right? But because of that, I don't think there was much opportunities as well. If that's the case, there's no need to force. You, no, I would not trade options. I would never trade options on anything, guys. All right, if I do, it's gonna be lottos. Right? If you trade options, you're trading against time's also against you, and that is like a pretty. Honestly, I didn't know that Mafia had options anyway, so it never really crossed my head. Nope. Honestly, I'll tell you guys, right? I only what I have one screen for trading and that's it. I don't really like to look at the charts being so small, you know. So I look at each chart individually, but I remember the pattern and the levels. So when I look at the watch list, right, and I see the watch list hitting certain price points and stuff, right, I just kind of briefly. So in the morning, I have a couple of watch lists I'm watching, right. I kind of briefly just skim through them like that, look at the price action, just a little bit one by one, right, and then I make my decision from there. I don't have like I know some of you guys might see this, you know, like 6 different charts, but man, these are also fucking small. How do you make any decision from here? It's not really my thing. I don't like it. It's too small for me. I could probably get like 6 monitors. But the thing is, you know, I have to look at 6 different charts at once, right? That's also a little bit overwhelming, no? So no. I only look at one chart at one time. And max two. But I skim through it very quickly. Right? I skimmed through it very, very quickly. I mean, it's only because of my experience too, right? It didn't obviously this didn't happen overnight. Okay, any questions, guys? This is a pretty short day. Pretty short day today, but I think it was a very nice day. Ever since market open, I don't think we got any loss, right? Pre-market was very slow, so I didn't really force. After you see again, another thing about adaptability, right? For the past few days, pre-market has been amazing, isn't it? Right? No, for the past few days, pre-market has been amazing. So there is no reason for me to think that pre-market is going to be shit today. But then, you know, after I try a couple of tickers, you know, I don't really want to talk about the lottos because they're lottos for a reason. I don't really care too much about that. Okay, but let's say the only real trade I took in pre-market was Zena, right? Twice, right? One was the first $5 break, 5/10 I got stopped out. Second one was $5 breakups for a small scalp, but that was it. And Um, and also this what's that the starting move on TGL, right? We had a nice move to 220s after dips as well, but it was all you see all very small. And once I realized that, okay, I need to tell myself, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Pre-market's slow, right? It's starting to change. I don't want to try to force my opinion on it because the market does not care about what you think, right? Then you gotta adapt. All right, I told you guys, right? Look at this. No follow through, not gonna force anything, right? CEO for market open for proper setups. Okay. Um, and I told you guys it's gonna be a while open. Let it set up. You know, Chinese names completely died off again. Good. Right. We focus on good quality setups. And we got it. And Mozv, huge winner today. Xena, huge winner today. RVYL, huge winner today. And that was it. Right? It was a banger morning for sure. But this shit's funny as fuck, man. Uh, so my indicators I use are the 21 EMA, the 50 EMA, and the 200 EMA, right? And VWAP. That's it. 4 lines. I don't even use MACD, by the way. I just use 4 lines and that's it. Hi, PBT. Let's say you give an entry at 2.21, it goes to 2.32, 2.35. No. No. Unless I say play around dips. If not, no. Right? Unless I say play around dips. If not, no. Okay, no, it depends. Unless I say, for example, right? Let's say I say, guys, I took entries at 2.24. Right? I took entries at 2.24. I'm looking for 2.5 and 6 and more. It hits 2.32 and goes down to 2.15, then yes, you can add it because the trade has not played out yet. right? The trade has not played out yet. But if I tell you guys my stop loss is under 220, don't tell me you'll be adding at 215. You understand? Right? If I tell you guys I'm in at 2.24, stop loss is under 220, price hit 2.32, goes to 2.15, please don't be adding at 2.15 because the setup is broken for me. I'm out. But if I tell you guys I'm in at 2.24, stop loss under $2, right? Looking for 2.5 and more, price goes to 2.32. I don't take profits there. It's pointless. Price goes back down to 2.15. You can add it because the setup is still there. I think if you guys did do that, you guys probably would have got better entries on MonV, right, at $3 instead. You know, exactly at $3. So sometimes maybe even at 290s. What dictates whether you stay player on dips or not? It depends on the structure, right? Some structure plays around channels, some structure don't. So it's not a given for every single thing, and it's very situational as well. I can only tell you guys on the day itself when I actually see it. Yeah, I remember the watch list prices. The foot. I remember the watch list prices. Gotta, you know, gotta exercise that brain, you know? Can you explain all the shortcuts you type in the tradings? Yeah, sure. What's the shortcut? What shortcuts are you talking about? What shortcuts you want to know? So for iPhone, I'm not sure who this guy is. iPhone 2088. Many times when you give an alert, by the time I get it, it's already gone up 10%. Should I still get in? I don't think that's the case. If you're waiting for my notifications, might be a little bit delayed. Try to just stay inside the channel. It should help you out. Right? If you just try to stay inside the channel, it should help you out. Because I'm pretty sure this wasn't up. Was this up 10%? I don't think so. This thing went down to 70s after even. I don't take profits. Remember, I don't take profits on the candle alert. But this up went down to 70s after too. No. I think yesterday's after hours was slow. I don't think it's I haven't looked at the scanners actually. Let me see. You still get lag time? But why is that lag time though? It should be immediate. I mean like less than a second difference. That's it. Oh wow. There's no user here. I don't think there should be any lag time. If you're staying exactly at the channel, there should not be any sort of lag time, right? Oh, wow. Oh, this is still very low volume, bro. Nobody doesn't watch this. I think yesterday all the pre-market movers wasn't even moving this morning anyway, so it's fucking pointless to look at them. But there were a lot of space stocks moving right now, I think. SPCE is moving, MNTS is moving, CDU is moving. Is it because of this Trump Elon stuff? Even RKLB is moving. There's a lot of space stocks moving right now. What the fuck's happening? All these are space stocks, guys. But it shouldn't be delayed. I don't think it should be delayed. I mean sometimes okay, so first things first is you gotta understand that when I alert something, people are also adding it, right? So it might jack up the price a little bit. Okay. Like for example, Zena over here. Okay, this Zena over here, $5 break. This is where everyone gets in together, right? Because I'm not adding it before that. I'm waiting for $5 break. So everyone over here could have gotten together. Mod V, I don't think look at let's take a look at Mod V, right? The timing of the alert and stuff like that. So for Mod V, okay, I got my entries over here at let's see what time was this? 9:36. So right on this candle over here. Okay, 9:36. I was in around 307, 308. But then you can see after that it came back down to like 3.1s and stuff. Remember, you guys can still take it. It's fine. You guys can still take it. It's very far away. It's not up 10%, right? I don't think so. And then for RVYL 942, I was in at 68. Now, again, remember, I'm trading as I see confirmation. So 942 candle is exactly this one. But look, if I want to tell you guys it was in at 63 cents, I can, but I'm not. I actually added on the way up, right? Because volume was coming in. But you can see after that, right? Price did actually go down to 70s for a bit before popping up, you know, and there was more than enough time. So it's fine. So long as it's not too far away, you're good. Elon said he will stop. Elon will stop SpaceX. That's his baby. Always stop it. You mean Trump will stop SpaceX? You mean Trump will stop SpaceX? No, this whole thing is fucking retarded. See, this whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much it. And it's also crazy how Elon was supporting Trump all the way, and then suddenly right now he's like all out against him. Now, what the fuck happened, you know?